All right, so for tonight's field walk, I thought instead of going out into the field for a walk, that we would take a walk over here to the manure bins where we keep all the poop. In our job, when you're dealing with horses, or any animal really, but horses produce a lot of poop. I'm going to be sending you this this article from the Maryland Department of Agriculture that I'm sort of referencing here so that you have it too. But to be more specific, I know you've heard that the horses poop 50 pounds a day. A full-grown horse poops 50 pounds a day. But that translates into 1 ton per month per horse of poop. So think about that. Now, a lot of our horses don't spend a ton of time in their stalls. So the poop that you see behind me is all mostly poop that we have scooped out of the arena or out of their stalls. The rest of their poop is out in the field, which actually in turn helps the field eventually grow. So I'm going to give you a little lowdown on how our composting bin works. It's actually quite fascinating and there is some science involved. But if you'll look behind me, the bin on my farthest left is where we are currently dumping poop from the stalls. Let me get a real good close-up of that. And then when this bin gets full, well, I should say, the bin at the very end, if you can imagine, this is the newest, freshest poop. The bin at the very end is the oldest and the closest to being considered compost. So when that is composted, we actually take it and we spread it on the fields, or sometimes we even give it to the families in our community to use on their gardens. But we rotate the bins so that the composted poop at the end always ends up in the last bin. This middle bin here is sort of middle poop. This poop will eventually get moved over. So the manure bins can actually heat up to 140 degrees. And compost bin, we don't have a huge operation here and we don't have to worry about this as much, but they are combustible. So you want to keep it away from housing facilities, which it is, and you want it to be on very flat land so that you don't have to worry about runoff or drainage from anything. So to make compost, it takes oxygen, moisture, and carbon nitrogen. So oxygen you get into the manure bin from turning the manure. But we're really lucky at CTR because we don't have to turn it because we have a really cool pump that I can show you at the end. It pumps oxygen under the poop so that the oxygen goes in to all 3 of these bins. And moisture, we water the poop with a hose. Sounds funny, but we say I'm off to water the poop just like you would water a garden. That helps break down the manure. And carbon and nitrogen are the 2 fundamental elements in composting. So the bacteria and the fungi that break down the manure and turn it into compost are fueled by carbon and nitrogen. The bulk of your compost pile should be carbon with just enough nitrogen thrown in to aid in the decomposition process. So we only put manure and shavings in here for CTR's composting purposes. I'm going to take you over to the very end over here. Maybe one day we can get this thing in action. But this is the manure spreader, and we hook it onto the tractor. We have to take poop with the tractor, the front end loader, dump it into the spreader, and then we take it out into the fields, and it literally shoots it everywhere. And it spreads it out so that that compost and manure can go back on the fields, and it helps. It's one of the things that helps keep our fields so nice and green. We are so lucky to have the fields that we do here. So that is composting in a nutshell. 101. You can read a little bit more in this article. This article that I'm going to send you goes a little bit more in depth about erosion and soil fertility and balance and pH and all that. But that is composting 101.